Have you ever found yourself daydreaming about sharing your golden years with someone special? Maybe you've even felt a flicker of hope. Could love happen again? Only to push it aside, thinking, but at my age, is it worth the complications? You're not alone. So many of us over 60 wrestle with that question. And while finding love later in life can be incredibly rewarding, it's not without its nuances. That's why today we're talking about 5 truths you need to know before saying I do again. Not to discourage you, but to empower you. Because knowledge, dear friend, is the key to making choices that honor both your heart and your hard-earned wisdom. Let's start with truth number 1. Your why matters more than ever. Now, I know that sounds obvious, but hear me out. When we're younger, marriage often revolves around building a life together. Careers, kids, a white picket fence. But later in life, the stakes shift. Are you remarrying because you're genuinely excited to share your life with this person? Or is it loneliness, societal pressure, or even well-meaning family nudging you toward companionship? There's no right or wrong answer here, but you must get honest with yourself. Take my cousin, Helen. She remarried at 68 to a lovely man named Frank. But 6 months in, she confessed, I think I just didn't want to eat dinner alone anymore. Now, Frank was kind, but they had little in common beyond a fear of empty evenings. It's okay to crave companionship. We all do. But a lasting marriage needs a stronger foundation than just shared mealtimes. So grab a journal, take a walk, or talk it out with someone you trust. Ask yourself, what do I truly want this chapter of love to look like? Which brings us to truth number 2. Money and legalities aren't romantic, but they're non-negotiable. Oh, I can see some of you cringing, but let's be real. By this stage, you've both built lives, homes, retirement funds, maybe even inheritances for your kids. Blending these requires more than a shared love of crossword puzzles. For example, did you know remarrying could affect your Social Security benefits? Or that jointly owning a house might unintentionally disinherit your children? It's not about distrust. It's about clarity. Here's what you can do. First, have the talk. Yes, that talk. Lay all cards on the table. Pensions, debts, long-term care plans. Then, consult a financial advisor or attorney who specializes in elder law. My neighbor George learned this the hard way. He remarried without updating his will, and when he passed, his children had to sell the family cabin he'd intended for them to cover his new wife's medical bills. Heartbreaking and avoidable. A simple prenuptial agreement or updated estate plan could have spared everyone that pain. Now, I'm not saying love can't conquer all, but when you've worked decades to build security for yourself and your loved ones, it's worth protecting. Think of these conversations as a gift to your future selves. Because true partnership isn't just about holding hands. It's about being on the same page, even when the pages involve tax forms and health care directives. Now imagine this. You've found someone who makes your heart skip a beat. You've talked openly about your whys and mapped out the practicalities. What's next? Well, that's where the next 3 truths come in. Ones that'll help you navigate family dynamics, emotional baggage, and the beautiful, messy reality of blending lives later in life. Because love after 60, it's not a fairy tale, but with the right tools, it can be something even better, real. Let's talk about something we rarely say out loud but deeply feel. Love after 60 isn't just about 2 people. It's about entire lifetimes of history, family, and, yes, even a few ghosts from the past. And that brings us to truth number 3. Your family isn't just your family anymore. Now, I don't mean that in a scary way, but blending lives later in life means blending worlds. Adult children, grandchildren, ex-spouses, lifelong friends, they're all part of the package. Take my friend Rita. She fell head over heels for a wonderful man named Tom, but when they announced their engagement, her daughter snapped, "Mom, why do you need to marry him? Isn't dating enough?" Ouch. What Rita realized, and what you need to know, is that your kids aren't being cruel. They're often scared. Scared of losing their inheritance, scared you'll forget their dad, scared of losing you. And Tom's kids? They worried he'd spend their college fund on a honeymoon. So how do you navigate this? First, listen. Let your loved ones voice their fears without judgment. Then, set boundaries with kindness. Rita sat down with her daughter and said, "This doesn't change how much I love you, but I deserve happiness, just like you do." Over time, they found their rhythm. Second, take it slow. Introduce your partner to family gradually. Maybe start with a casual barbecue, not a holiday dinner. And if tensions flare, family therapy isn't just for the young. A neutral third party can work wonders. Now, here's the beautiful part. When handled with care, blending families can create something extraordinary. Tom's grandson and Rita's granddaughter now study together every Sunday, but it takes patience. And that brings me to truth number 4. Your past isn't just your past, it's your partner's present. Let me explain. By our age, we've all collected scars, losses, divorces, regrets. Maybe you still grieve your first spouse. Maybe your partner had a bitter divorce they've never fully processed. These aren't just stories. They shape how you love now. My late Uncle Arthur learned this the hard way. He remarried a widow named Clara. But whenever he talked about his first wife, Clara shut down. "I felt like I was competing with a ghost," she told me later. Here's the key. Honor the past, but don't let it haunt the present. How? Start by sharing your stories openly, but sparingly. You don't need to recount every detail of your first marriage over coffee. Instead, say, "I loved deeply before, and that love taught me how to love you better." And if old wounds resurface, say, jealousy over an ex, consider couples counseling. There's no shame in asking for help to untangle the threads of yesterday from the tapestry you're weaving today. Let's get practical. If your partner lost a spouse, acknowledge their grief on special dates. Light a candle together, visit the grave, or simply say, "I know today might be hard. I'm here." That small act builds trust. And if you're the one carrying baggage, write a letter to your past self. Thank them for surviving, then fold it up and say, "I've got it from here." You'd be amazed how freeing that feels. Now, I know this sounds like a lot, but here's the thing. Love after 60 isn't about perfection. It's about showing up, messy history, complicated families and all, and choosing to build something new anyway. And when you do, it's like these lanterns here. Each one holds its own light, but together they make the whole path glow. Which brings us to the final truth, one that ties all these pieces together into a single powerful question. A question that'll help you decide once and for all if saying "I do" again is the right step for you. But before we get there, take a moment. Reflect on what we've covered. Maybe even share your own story in the comments. Have you navigated blended families? found ways to honor the past while embracing the present? Your wisdom could light the way for someone else. You know, there's a question I've been asked more than any other. Is it too late for love to feel easy? After all, by our age, we've earned our independence, our routines, our quirks, our silent Sunday mornings. And that brings us to truth number 5, the one that ties all the others together. Love after 60 isn't about losing yourself. It's about expanding your world without shrinking your soul. Let me explain. Imagine your life as a cozy house. You've spent years arranging the furniture, hanging the art, filling it with memories. Remarrying isn't about moving into someone else's house or bulldozing yours to build a new one. It's about opening a door between two homes and saying, "Come in, but let's keep the walls standing." My friend Evelyn taught me this. At 72, she remarried a man who adored travel, while she cherished her book club and solo walks. Instead of giving up her passion, she said, "Tuesdays are for my girls. Fridays are for us." 10 years later, they're still thriving because they chose and not or. Here's how to protect your house. First, keep something sacredly yours, a hobby, a friendship, a morning ritual. Second, communicate your needs without apology. "I need quiet evenings to recharge," or "I'd love to join your bridge group, but I'll skip the weekends." And third, celebrate the differences. Maybe your partner loves ballroom dancing, and you'd rather watch documentaries. That's okay. Variety keeps the spark alive. The goal isn't to merge into one person. It's to stand side by side, two whole souls choosing to share the view. Now, let's tie this all together. Truth number 1, know your why. Truth number 2, plan for the practical. Truth number 3, navigate family with grace. Truth number 4, honor the past without living in it. And truth number 5, protect your independence like the gift it is. These aren't rules, they're tools. Tools to help you build a love that's rooted in reality, but still has room to soar. Here's what I want you to remember. Remarrying later in life isn't a gamble if you go in with your eyes and heart wide open. It's a bold, beautiful choice to say, "I've lived, I've loved, I've lost, and I'm still all in." But it's also okay if you choose differently. Maybe cohabitation feels right. Maybe companionship without vows. There's no should here, only what honors you. Before we wrap up, I'd love to hear your story. Have you found love again? Hesitated? Learned a lesson the hard way? Share it in the comments. Your words might be the nudge someone needs to take that leap, or pause and reflect. And if this resonated with you, do me a kindness. Hit like, subscribe, and share this with a friend. Let's spread the truth that love isn't a deadline. It's a lifelong season. However your story unfolds, remember this. You are not too old, too set in your ways, or too anything to deserve joy. Whether you say "I do" again or choose a different path, let it be yours. Boldly, unapologetically, beautifully yours. Here's to love in all its messy, magnificent forms. Cheers, my friend.